Hi everybody, Martyn at Flicking Feathers again today, and I'm tying this, what I call the Magma Minnow. It's a very simple little baitfish. Works for everything. I'm tying them for perch, but suit yourself. Tie them different colours. There's a wee roaching device there, there's a perch fry. Obviously you can go brighter, sort of non-imitative, orange tiger there. Anything you like. Now, I'm going to tie a rattling version. If you want to see how I attach the rattles, I did a video last week showing you how to get to this. It's very simple. So, it's just to show you how to use the rattle really. And I'll put a materials list in the description, along with a link to the Patreon page for anyone that wants to support the channel and get access to the monthly fly tying classes and the members only content, as well as entering the giveaways. Alternatively, subscribe, hit the bell button, like the video, share the video, watch it all the way to the end. That all helps the channel. Right, so I've just started some fluorescent orange thread here. You can use whatever you like, but I'm just building up a wee bit of thread. To take the glue, which I'm using as liquid fusion. Just put a blob there at the back. Don't be shy, get plenty on there, because you will see you've got a wee gap. I'm quite happy to let that kind of leak, and then once I'm happy with my positioning, I'll come over. Now if you don't want a rattling fly, you just skip this step. Right, I tie them both ways, tie them with a rattle and without. Take away the excess there. Now, the reason I call it the Magma Minnow is I put like a hot core, and you can use various things. You can use predator dub, laser dub, or even egg yarn. Right, you can take like a piece of egg yarn. I've got a scrap here, and if you just pull it out from the main hang, you'll get you end up with, it's basically like the predator dub or the laser yarn. You can use that. Just whatever to get you that hot colour. I always put something quite extremely fluorescent in the middle. So I'm going to do like a fire tiger. So give it an orange core. This is the fluorescent hot orange laser dub I'm using. And you don't need loads, because you double it obviously. Something like that. Just get that tied in. Check the position. I want it to sort of envelop the rattle really. Although it doesn't matter, I've used the red shrink tube. Obviously that gives you a bit of colour as well. So just fold this back, tie over it, then come forward tight. Just don't snap your thread. Must have hit the hook point there. Doesn't matter though, you just start again. And you don't even need to worry too much about like if this is neat or tidy or anything, because this is all inside. You know, it's got to be covered up. And you can have really long, extra long fibres, you can just pull them away, and that looks okay to me. Right, and Oops, and it looks a mess, but again, it's all covered up. You don't need to worry too much about this. So that's glued up on the inside, tied on. I'm going to switch to a mono thread. Just start this mono thread, come along, and I'll stop just in front of the hook point. Quite happy with that. Got a bit of super glue. Just got to super glue all the way along here just to add a bit of security. Again, I mean, if you're using it in salt water, super glue's no use. You could just use the liquid fusion again, and that would be fine. So because it's a fire tiger, I'm going to start with some fluorescent yellow. This is SF blend, but you can use any of these similar fibres. Salon, flashing slinky, whatever. Just got a length. I'm going to cut it in half, and then I'll taper the edges. And I just want to check. I want this to be 3 inches long or 75 millimeters. So I'll just check on my vice where that is exactly from the hook eye, and make sure I tie it longer. Right, I'm not going to try to hit the exact 75 mil. I just want to make sure I've got enough for the trimming. Tie this on top. Fold them back. Come along a wee bit further, sorry. And fold it back. So I've got a good 5-6 mil beyond that length, so that when I do come to finish the fly or trim it, I know I've got plenty of space. Put this on the belly. Again, I'll just sort of, I've got my length now, so it's fine. And this can be a wee bit shorter. Fold it over onto your side. Make sure and spread it. I mean, if it's not absolutely perfect, it's okay, because you've got another couple of ties. Now, even though this is going to be a small fly at 3 inches, it's worth putting a bit of super glue, because I mean, pike will eat it. You know, just adds that wee bit of durability over your wraps. Again, in salt water, something else. And I've just pooed that and some of the flashes come out, so I'm just going to stick it back in. It's just some of there's maybe a wee bit shorter. Belly colour. And I'm going to go for orange. And I'm going to tie it in at the midpoint of the shank, in front of that, in front of where the rattle is, the rattle sleeve is. And I don't put a lot in here, just a wee sparse bunch. Right, that's not very much at all, because I've already got the orange colour in the core, right? So fibres from silver scales. This doesn't have flash in it. I think it's big fly fibre it's called. And if I'm just suiting the colours that I've got. Okay, I'll just cut that in half. taper it slightly to help it when I go to before I trim it. Get that in. Now I'm going to come forward a wee bit. I'm going to create like a small space before the reverse tie, just to help. It helps you keep it sparse, and it also helps to fill up the hook shank. You know, like I folded that back so it's not actually been folded and tied over where it was initially tied in. So I'm moving forward, and it sort of stops that temptation to like fill up with too many tie-ins. So catch that off. I mean, it's a simple enough fly. Get another bit of orange. This front tie can be slightly heavier than the one before because you're needing a wee bit of bulk at the front just to create the head shape. That's where your minnow would actually be thickest anyway if it was a real fish, you know, and it gives you something to get the eyes onto. So same again, just tie that in, and I'll fill the space now before between the hook eye and that tie off. Just repeat it. So it's just 3 ties up the body, and it's actually quite quick if you stage tie it. You know, if you do all the colours and then you just come in and do the colours. Just make sure you've got fairly good coverage. All around. And then I've got to add a wee bit extra flash. Just some Angelina fibre. Plain pearl, it will sort of, the colour of the hair will sort of reflect in it and give me a nice, it'll give you the nice tone that you need. So you don't need to be stressing out about matching the colour. I'm putting quite a bit on here because I'm going to lose some of it when I trim the fly. And then whip finish. And tie them, if I was you, I would tie them all to this stage. And then you can do all the eyes, do all the trimming, everything at once, or the, you know, if you're using a pen on it or whatever, just do them all at once so you get on this size. So you want something about 5-6 millimeters. Pick a colour that you like. I'm going to use gold. I don't need to worry about using a fluorescent eye. There's plenty of fluorescence in the fly as is. So just got to put a wee blob of gel super glue right in the front there. I like the gel because it gives you time to work. Drop that eye on, check the position. That looks no bad. Make sure they're in the same place. I like to take it out of the vise and have a wee check. And then it's obviously time to get the resin in there. To hold everything securely in place. So I'm using solar resin, I'm using the thin formula between the eyes, and then I'll coat the whole thing with thick to get a nice smooth finish. And you see there I've got a fibre sticking up, which is kind of annoying me, but I'll just manipulate it so that it's sort of in with the main bunch. And I'll set things up. And you see that I've lifted the body slightly so that it's sort of coming out halfway up the eye. Underside, you don't need a lot, you're just filling the space. And the thin formula I find is much better for the getting in the middle. It goes in, it sort of soaks in a wee bit. And then you can use the thick, which doesn't run as much. It's a wee bit slower on its movement, but it doesn't run as much, so you get a nice head. And you can rotate it and get a nice even head. Just that one here. I mean, look, that it doesn't matter, but it was annoying me. You know, you could just have left that if you were that way inclined. So the thick formula now, just going to coat, and you can see the solar res thick's very thick, which some people are not too keen on, I know, but you can heat it up a wee bit if you want it to be slightly runnier. But it levels out fantastically, and it's not going to bleed into the fibres. So it'll stay there at the front. Just take my needle, burst that wee bubble, make sure I've got the eyes fully coated. I don't want to come back off of the eye, I just want to cover the eye. That. We got a wee bit much there, so I'll just take some away. And that's the beauty of the UV resin, right? You can just, you don't need to be in a hurry, you can just make sure you get it right. Now, because I took that away, it's a bit uneven, but if I just spread it and then give it a moment, it will take on the shape that I want. Just turn it, it's sort of self-leveling. Just make sure I'm right to that back edge of the eye. I mean, again, it's how fussy do you want to be. I'm just turning it until I'm happy, and then I'll zap it. There we go, nice wee thing. So we'll trim it, and I never trim them in the vise, I always take them out. First thing I do, I've got my ruler, so I just set it down and I put the eye of the fly 70, in this case it's 75mm, and I just put a straight cut at the back. So see that, look, I just do like this, and that way from here I can trim the baitfish shape. Now again, obviously I would say tie them all and trim them all at the same time, but for the purposes of video I'm just going to come along here and you can see as you trim it you actually start to kind of cause a fade in the material colours. You lose some of the green and all that, and it's quite nice. Obviously if you're only tying it in two colours you don't get that as much of that effect. Like the roach is just white and grey, you know. And when you can trim these all day, knowing when to stop is also important. I would also say, like, because I'm tying the fire tiger, obviously I'm going to use this in like slightly dirtier water. You can leave it a bit denser, right? The clear water flies, like the roach colour, if you're going to fish that on a sunny day that's with nice clear water, you probably want that to be a bit sparser. To allow more light transmission, whereas this you want a kind of, you want that bright colour and a slightly blockier profile, or blockier core body, middle body, right, so that it's no just giving the strong silhouette. I mean, and I wouldn't get too fancy with the striping, because obviously as the fibres move and all that as you fish it, they don't hold the pattern the same. I mean, again, normally I would set it on a bit of paper, but just so you can see, I'm just going to come up. That's 4, that's fine. I mean, it's up to yourself, but in fact I might put a 5th one on right at the back there. I like a good pronounced stripe on these. And I'm using a Sharpie, so you know, make sure Copic pens are no use. They don't stay on this material. Weirdly, they're quite good on super hair, and if you tie them in advance with super hair and use a Copic pen, it'll stay on. But so there you go, there you have it. That's a Magma, Minnow and Fire Tiger. As I said, tie them different colours, and it scales up, right? You can tie it, I mean, as I say, that's 3 inches for perch. and bass, right? I mean, I use these for smallmouth bass as well, largemouth bass, but tie them 4 inches, tie them 6 inches, with a rattle and without a rattle, and they're very, very effective. So there you go. Hope that was useful, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up below, and I'll see you for another video.